Haven't talked to Sweeney in a long time. Sweeney, what's going on?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
All right, what's happening?
Didn't think we'd be sitting there talking about a pennant race when the summer began, did you?
I hope so, but very surprising. But a lot, and then think a lot of things had happened. So a lot of people weren't expecting a lot of things. I don't think they expected to see A-Rod play this year. Didn't know if they'd see Jeter play this year, and now they got him playing and playing well.
Yeah, I think what these guys are doing right now, obviously, is they're picking up where the first group left off. I think they feel almost their obligation, Mike, because I don't think anybody expected the group of Wells and Overbay. We talked about it in May. We thought they only had to really kind of hold things together for a month. But the Yankees got hit with a second wave of injuries that really put their season in peril. And it's almost like, Mike, you've got everybody back here with Granderson and Jeter and A-Rod, and they're running the last leg of a 4x400. The first three guys got them in a position where maybe you didn't expect to win. Now it's the anchor leg, and they're trying to take it home because the first group really put them in a position to make it possible.
Well, I think they've really raised their game dramatically. I mean, they've gone 13-2 at home last 15. The Soriano trade made a huge difference in the team. Getting A-Rod back made a big difference, but Nova's made a big difference. But now they need some of these pitches to take them home, and I think that really is what we're looking at. I mean, Nova's been sensational, but to me, they need a couple of these pitches. Now, I don't know what's left in Kuroda. He might be done for the season. He might be just too tired, but they need these pitches to come up big. And, the amazing thing is the Yankees, you would think when the roster expanded, could maybe come up with some live arms, but it just shows you they don't have a lot because they don't have any reinforcements coming up here helping them. It's not like there's new faces that they can throw in and pitch games. They don't have anybody who can do that.
And they got hit with injuries at the minor league level, too. I mean, you think the Major League Yankees used 52 players, which is a team record. Well, at AAA, they used over 70 different players, Mike. I mean, they were hit with so many injuries over the course of the year at the other level, too. And I know a lot of fans were wondering what took so long to replace Phil Hughes in the rotation, but they got hit with too many injuries at that level. With Phelps got hurt and hasn't been able to come back, and you're probably not going to see him this season. Pineda got hurt again as he was trying to come back from the shoulder. It's a minor thing, but he's not available for them to pitch. I heard a caller bring up Vidal Nuno. He got hurt too. He got some back AAA and he got hurt. So the Yankees were looking for some options and just didn't have anybody that was better than Phil Hughes to put in the rotation, so they had to keep running him out there. Now they have some extra bodies, and Huff has pitched well, deserves a shot. He might get knocked out in the second or third inning, or he might give him a sixth shutout. Who knows? But now they have some extra bodies to cover that and can make the move, which they will this weekend.
Yeah, and, you'd like to see this bullpen be a little deeper than it is right now. I mean, all right, I know Kelly had a bad outing the other day, but right now you can't trust Jabba. And really, other than Rob, I mean, you can give Logan a lefty, but other than Robinson and Rivera, there's not much there that you really can count on. And every night, I don't know if that's enough. I mean, you'd like to see a little more depth. If you go back to some of the great Yankee bullpens down the stretch, they had a lot of different guys who could be role players out of that bullpen. The Yankees could use a couple of more guys they could count on to get through a tough sixth inning or into a seventh inning. And right now, you do worry about that sixth and seventh inning before you get to Robinson.
Yeah, right now obviously the Robertson were locking down 8 and 9 for you last night. It's a bad game for Robertson.
Oh, that was a terrible game for Robertson.
And it's a good thing they had a big lead. If he's gonna have a bad night, that's the game to have it in, where they have a big lead and can still win the ball game. But before you get to him, right now it's going to be Claiborne and Kelly from the right side, Logan from the left side, and obviously you want your starter to get you into the seventh inning if you can. Jabba Chamberlain's season has been lost. Really,
it's been a sad finish for him because he's done after this year. But I mean, it hasn't ended right. I still think there's talent there, but it really has been a mess for Jabba.
The Yankees stopped using him in high leverage situations, a couple of months ago. They stopped bringing him to games with the lead, and even the other day, on Sunday, it was a close game, but they weren't ahead, and he wouldn't have been in the game if they were ahead. So they really have obviously lost faith and confidence in what Jabba can do, and they'll look to bring him into games if they need to keep it, if they're down a couple of runs, they're going to bring him in because they're not going to waste their other guys there. It is a sad finish here because he's a free agent at the end of this year, and you know that he just doesn't seem to fit into the Yankee plans at all.
No, he's going to be gone, and Hughes is going to be gone, which is, hey, listen, that's the way it goes. I mean, it's okay. I mean, they've had their moments. It's not what it was supposed to be, but it's okay. This year, though, has a chance to really be fun. I mean, you cannot look at that team and forget the A-Rod stuff because at least it's quieted down now, which is a smart thing on both sides. We'll worry about that in November. Now it's about baseball. But that's a very unified team having a good time. You can see that now every night. You can see it in Soriano. You can see it in Cano. You can see it in A-Rod. You can see it in every run. You go down the list. That is a fun, unified team that is having a good time now down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, this is a team that used to go down 2 runs, and probably they feel like they could win the ball game. Well, that's not the case anymore, Mike. They know they have a deep lineup again. Guys are back healthier. It's a more representative Yankee team than you were seeing earlier in the year. They're having fun because they think they can win, and that's what they're doing almost every night here. Now, they're winning at home. I mean, they've won 15 out of 18 at home, but they've had some bad road trips, and that's what's really hurt them at this point in time. They're still on the outside looking in.
Yeah, these next 10 games, Sweeney. I mean, I mentioned these games the day we were at Giant Camp, which was, I think, on August 11th or whatever it was. You could see these games a mile away. It was going to be Boston, Baltimore, Boston. This is going to be it. I mean, 5th to the 15th, and that's where we are. And if they get through this, if on the 16th the Yankees are a game or 2 games, I would say then they got to be a game, but they need to be even on the 24th with Tampa. I can't expect to be ahead of Tampa on the 24th, but if they can just be even with them when they come to town on the 24th, then you take your best shot, and then they go to Houston for the weekend. Yep. So, I mean, that's all you can hope for. I just hope those 3 games will, in essence, be playoff games. I mean, I hope that's the case. I think Tampa's still a team to catch and beat. I don't think Cleveland has enough pitching. I don't think the Royals are going to do it. I think Baltimore's dangerous. They scare me. But I think it's Yankees, Tampa, Baltimore, one of those 3. And I still think this is going to come into a Yankee-Tampa showdown. And those 3 games would be playoff games. I mean, that's where the playoffs would start that night. The September 24th would be a playoff game at Yankee Stadium, 3 straight nights against Tampa.
Yeah, and even when you talk about the stretch that they're in, I would even take it back to last weekend with the Orioles series there, because you were talking about 14 out of 17 against the Orioles and Red Sox, and they got a little bit of a break in between to regroup and get healthy against a team that obviously they didn't have a good trip to a month ago, but they took care of them again here, and they rebound and go into this stretch on a good note again. They're gonna have to win games on the road though, Mike. They get through this stretch here. After this series, they play 13 out of 19 on the road to finish. I know last year you were in Houston, but the Yankees have been under 500 on the road here for a good stretch, and this team is playing better now. They need to carry it over into the road games. They take 3 out of 4 here against Boston. They need to take 3 out of 4 against Baltimore. It doesn't sound. It doesn't sound like a lot to get to it, to close a 3-game gap in 2.5 weeks going to that Tampa series. But you can't have any slip-ups, Mike. You can't afford it.
No. Hey, listen, Boston can knock them out of the playoffs right now. I mean, we all know it. The Yankees have 23 games left. I put the number, a month ago at 90. I still think I hold fast to that number. They need 15 wins. They got to go 15-8 to get to that number. Okay, 15-8 is definitely doable. I mean, that's what they need. I thought 90. Joe had put it at 95. I thought it was too high. I think for the second wild card, 90 will get it. Remember, Tampa still has 4 games with the Rangers. So, and the other teams are not playing that well. I mean, Baltimore's not played that well lately. Tampa's been obviously on the West Coast, so you got to take that into consideration. But I think 90 wins, if they can win the 15 out of 23, I think they'll go. And again, I mean, a lot of it's going to be head-to-head stuff because those 3 games, 24, 25, 26, And if you look, I mean, the schedule for the Rays is not easy because of the fact that they have Seattle, then they have Boston, then they got Minnesota, but then they have 4 with Texas, 3 with Baltimore, and 3 with the Yankees before finishing up with Toronto. So, I mean, they got their own games, and Texas is going to be fighting for a division, if not those guys. I'm not going to bring those guys into the wild card at this moment, Texas and Oakland, but it's still remotely possible they could be mixed into the wild card, or at least playing for a division title. So, I mean, clearly, Tampa's got a lot of work to do.
Well, the Yankees, if you put that number at 15, they can't just chalk up the 9 against Toronto, San Francisco, and Houston and say, I'll only need to win 6 others. I mean, these head-to-head matchups against these good teams are going to...
I agree.
They're going to count more. I mean, you can't just say you're going to win those other games, because if you lose the ones going into that, those games aren't going to matter as much.
And the Giant games are not pushovers because the Giants put a big pitcher on the mound every night.
Yeah,
so that's why the Giants playing them is very dangerous, because you could get shut out any night you go to the mound against the Giants.
And you know what's also... I mean, I don't think it's going to happen if the Yankees are in position to make those games against Houston count. But I mean, you're going to end up facing some 24-year-old kid you've never seen before, and he's going to give up 2 runs in 6 innings, and you're going to be kind of fighting that battle, which we've seen plenty of times in the past. They can't put themselves in that position, Mike. They have to win the games against the good teams, because you just don't know where the landmines are going to fall in September.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to me, it's right now, and then you're trying to put yourself in position to get to the 24th. You want to get to the 24th even. If you could get there even, and and hopefully everybody else is kind of cleared out of the way, and it's the Yanks and Tampa, and those 3 games, let the better team win, and away we go. I mean, I'm hoping that's the case. I mean, that's where you'd like to see this thing, end up, and we'll see if it happens. I think the Yanks have a very good shot now, though. I mean, they're playing better than these teams. The question is, can they continue to do it?
Yeah, and listen, you're hoping for better performances out of Sabathia and Kuroda. I mean, listen, every night now, your starting pitcher, is the guy that you want to pitch a great game. You can't sit there and say it's this guy, it's that guy. Whoever's starting tonight, that's the guy who has to go out there and pitch.
I don't think Kuroda's coming back, Sweeney.
You put yourself in.
I think Kuroda's done. I mean, I think the idea of seeing the good Kuroda, I think he might have some decent games, but I think Kuroda, the guy we saw, who was great, who was as good as anybody in the league, I think that guy has hit the wall. I don't think you're going to see that Kuroda again. I think he is exhausted. I think he's thrown 180 innings. I think he's had it. And whatever they get out of him, he's on fumes. Now, if he can pitch well one night on fumes, God bless him, but I think he's on fumes.
Back in the spring, I told you, he's a guy you kind of had to worry about a little bit because of the workload last season was the most he's ever thrown in his professional career, Japan or the U.S. And coming back off of that at age 38, you wondered what he had. Well, he started out great. And, I guess kind of made us forget about the workload issue, but it's clearly catching up to him now. The Yankees are trying to do what they can to alleviate it, Mike. He got an extra day's rest before this last start. They didn't have him through his bullpen session between starts. They're just trying to save his arm a little bit and seeing if they can, if he can just get an extra boost here. It's a tough time of year for a lot of guys like this, and he's going to have to find some way through it. Andy Pettitte, I thought, might be in the same boat, too, but Pettitte's found his way around it. He had his little hiccup, just around the All-Star break, and I really thought, because he's a guy who hadn't pitched this many innings in 4 years, I thought he was a guy who was going to be fighting this battle that Kuroda is right now, but he's kind of jumped over a little bit, and his starts are equally as important.
I trust him differently because I know that Pettitte has a different philosophy now. I know that Pettitte doesn't worry about blowing out his arm. He doesn't worry about pain. I know he doesn't. He thinks he's got his whole life to fix that. I know because I've talked to him about that, and he doesn't. He has a little different approach. If he goes home after this season, I think he's fine. I think he doesn't worry. He's told me that. I don't worry about if my arm hurts. I don't worry about pain. I'm not worried about 5 years. I just want to go out and compete now. So I think he knows. I mean, if he could pitch this team into the playoffs, that would be a great way for him to finish up a great career. It really would. And I trust him now with the ball. I really do. And that's why I wouldn't have taken him out of that game until he gave up a run, because I trust him. I trust his guts and guile in the big spot. I really do. I feel good about him right now. He's pitched well the last 5 times he's had the ball. I have faith in him. I really do. I'm worried about CeCe. I don't know what to expect out of Huff. I'm worried about CC, and I'm worried about Corona now because I just think Corona has given the Yankees everything he's got. I don't think he's got a lot left.
Girardi is clearly managing these games a lot differently. If you look at the way he's handled Sabatia's last couple of starts, look at the way he managed the past game, no matter what the trust level is, he's clearly looking at this as, these are playoff games. He's managing these games like they're the playoffs, and I think you're going to continue to see that.
Well, CC left the mound grumbling last night. Now, he'd thrown 111 pitches. I don't know if he was mad at himself. I don't know if he's mad at himself or what, but he was cursing when he left the mound last night. He was
mad at himself because he put two guys on base and had to leave the game with those two guys on when he could have finished that inning. He said even after the last start was a surprising one. Last Friday night against Baltimore, clearly he hasn't pitched well, but he had a 2-run lead in the 6th inning and had only 86 pitches, and Girardi came to get him.
I know. And I thought he was right. I thought he was right.
And Sabathia agreed, Mike, because even though he didn't agree with the decision, he was upset. Like he agreed with the idea that he hasn't earned the right this year, that he can't be mad at Girardi for taking him out because he hasn't pitched well enough, and he knows that the situation again last night. It's going to continue to be that until he can find himself to turn the game around to what we're used to seeing. I don't know if we're going to see that. Last night was better. It shows you what we're measuring CC Sabathia against this year. Because we're talking about how good last night was. It was okay.
I didn't think he was good last night. I didn't think he was good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good for CC.
Yes, we're comparing it to what we've seen earlier this year. In comparison to what we've seen this year, it was really good. But that's really the type of year that Sabathia is having, and this is how Girardi is approaching his games. And I think that's how Girardi's approaching a lot of the games right now. If you watch the way he's used his bullpen, he had a 5-run lead. He had no problems going to Robertson or Rivera when he had a big 4-game series coming up against the Red Sox, where your bullpen's going to be taxed. He had no problems trying to go to his best relievers with a 5-run lead, because these are all playoff games right now.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're a Yankee fan, you couldn't have asked for more than what you have right now. You're here in September. It's September 5th, and the Red Sox are coming in, and you're playing big baseball games. That's all you can ask for. That's all you can. This could turn out to be a great September. This season could turn out to be a really fun, a memorable season if they can make the playoffs. This would be a great achievement for this team if they could make the playoffs. It really would. Even if they're staying short, and it might be, who knows, they might not have enough pitching to pitch in short series. But the point is, you know what? Just getting there. You like the feel of this team. I wouldn't want to play this team in the playoffs. I really wouldn't, because this team is a together group right now. You get a feel for teams, and right now that's a confident lineup. They are what I like about them is I like when teams are stringing hits together. And right now, they're feeding off each other, and they're stringing hits together. It's not one guy bombing the ball. And Soriano did that for a while, but right now it's, getting rallies and hitting and stringing singles and doubles together. And to me, those are the teams that are dangerous, is when you do that. And I like the way the team's playing right now.
Mike, they can do this a couple of different ways. They're in this ballpark. They're winning games in their own ballpark because they get the ball out of the ballpark again. And you're right. You've got guys up and down the lineup that can do that. That just wasn't part of the equation earlier. But if you see the two big innings they put together this week, the 8-run inning and the 5-run inning, they were all done without a home run.
And you like to see that. And I thought there was some big at bats. And I thought, listen, Soriano double.
The White Sox was incredible. You have 5 straight hits, but 4 of them were singles up the middle, including the lefty on lefty with Granderson.
Yeah, I thought
the Yankees brought Curtis Granderson off the bench. Like they weren't able to do that. They had Wells over hitting 3 and 4 earlier in the year. Now they're bringing guys like Granderson off the bench.
Soriano got that single, which clearly scored 2 runs. But I thought the A-Rod single.
Yep.
And the Granderson single were the big hits because, yes, it was 4-3, but if A-Rod doesn't get a hit there, that inning's going to end 4-3. And then Granderson turned it into a different inning, too. So I thought, and A-Rod had 2 strikes on him and flipped it into left center, and then Granderson with a big single. And those were big. Those are just good clutch at-bats, and they're getting a lot of good clutch at-bats right now. And you know what? They're getting good at-bats. They're getting 2-out hits. They're getting 2-strike hits. And that's the kind of stuff you like like to see. And, that's what you're seeing now from this team. Yeah, they can hit home runs, but they're also getting some really good clutch at bats right now. And now they got to do it against a better team. So now they do it against the Red Sox.
On the road too, yeah, because they're going to play 2 more games here at home where they can take advantage of this ballpark and hit the ball out of Yankee Stadium like we've seen over the course of the last month. But they finished with 13 of 19 on the road. Those 2-strike at bats, those 2-strike hits, those are going to be the ones that are going to help them win games.
Well, that's why to me, Sweeney, the Sunday night game when A-Rod got hit was such an important game because they came from behind on the road in a very big spot in Boston where they were buried early in the game. And to me, that was an enormously important game for their psyche. And I thought it was in a lot of different ways a very big game for this team.
I think they rode some emotion that night. I think what's carried them the rest of the way. I mean, baseball teams don't carry emotion like that necessarily from one game to the next or week to week. But I think they feel good about themselves, as you've been saying, that they're healthy and that they're able to compete in a game that even when they're down a couple of runs, that wasn't happening earlier this year.
No, it's a different team now, and it's a lot of fun. Tonight's lineup, let me give it to you quick. We'll have Joe Girardi at 5. Gardner, Jeter, Cano, Soriano's in left. Granderson will DH. We talked about that before. Soriano does not like to DH every day. That's why the better player is on the bench defensively. A-Rod, Overbay, Ichiro, Stewart. One change there. Ichiro behind Overbay instead of in front of Overbay where he was, and maybe because I don't know if it was because Ichiro didn't come through with the bases loaded last night. Maybe he thinks Overbay's a little better with men in scoring position. I don't know. Overbay might be a little better RBI man if they walk A-Rod, so I don't mind that. And then you also can bunt Stewart if Ichiro leads off with a base hit. So I like Ichiro, I think, better in that spot anyway, and that's the lineup, and that's a good lineup to take against a very good pitcher tonight. Nunez again. Nova against Peavy, who's been pitching very well for the Red Sox.
And you're going to have Reynolds available off the bench for an Overbay if you need him.
Let me give the Red Sox, Sweeney, thank you. We'll chat probably tomorrow. Jacoby Ellsbury, Victorino, Pedroia, Ortiz, Nava, Napoli, Drew, Lavanway, Middlebrooks. They scored 20 runs last night. They hit 8 home runs. Big Poppy's on fire. That is a tough, good, competitive, tough-out lineup. And you know what bothers me about that lineup? You know Ellsbury's there. You know Big Poppy's there. The guys that bother me in that lineup, Victorino, Napoli, Nava, those guys are pains in the neck. Pains in the neck in big spots. I hate seeing Victorino up with a couple of men on base late. The guy's a pain in the... Same thing with Napoli. Good RBI man, get a big hit. Those guys have they've been really good signings. You talk about not making a spectacular signing. Bringing in guys like Napoli and Victorino have made a huge difference for the Red Sox. They really have. Back in.